I don't want to see tutorial because I've done tutorials on these before. We're just gonna carve a pumpkin today. Have some fun with it. Let's make it a little bit lower though. Especially with those lights. I don't like them. Alright, so we got our, I call it a hot knife, but it has multiple ends that you can put on there. I think they usually just call it a wood burning tool. I did remember to turn it on this time. No, do not test it. No. Trust that it's on. And then for later, got my picking tools, good for picking out the, either pushing in or pulling out the small parts. And push pins, of course. A lot of people tape their design on there, but I don't like to do that just because sometimes I need to move around where I need it to be flat on the pumpkin. And I think this is going to be the best side for this because the rest of this is a little bit too round. I'm not sure where I got this, but it already has like some holes in it. You know what? It's all good. It's all character. Let me see. I was going to make this like a little bit smaller, but I think the paper, I think we're fine. Technically, no, I should not try and rip it. That would be a terrible idea. I thought there was some over here, but you know what? We'll just go with it. We'll try not to stab ourselves with these push pins. And we're going with this one because I think the white goes really, really good with it. Let's have the top right here. Well, there we go. Sometimes I can find pumpkin designs of the ones that I want to do. Sometimes I have to just get something that I think looks good and attempt to do it myself. Unfortunately, I have failed twice on that. The waste of a pumpkin and it's a waste of time. The Indiana Jones one, it looks great until you put a light in it. Terrible. Sometimes you're going to fold these over, so I try and find the spot that doesn't have anything you're going to be cutting and fold that. Like I said, typically I'll cut these, but the scissors are floating around somewhere. And I got this all set up and started, and I forgot to get them and don't feel like going and getting them. Getting in them. And yes, sometimes some light might peek out of the holes. You know what? It's all good. Adds to the mystery and the flavor. No, we're not doing Pinhead. Not today, at least. Before, I wasn't really into doing like known characters as much, but I think that people really enjoy them, so that's why the ones that I'm redoing for this year, sadly a lot of ours are reaching the end of their lifespan. I mean, it's just foam. It doesn't last forever, especially when they're outdoors for a really long time. I don't even think we need to do that over there. Anywho, so I'm doing replacements of all like known characters. Let's see, I have some more in here that I'm going to be doing. Got this one. And this one. And I wanted to pick ones that I didn't already have. Like, my Elvira's great. So until she gets completely busted, I'm not going to replace her. I just love her so much. Alright, we're good to go. We can start by testing the heat. Yes, make sure you cut the right ones. So, clearly it's the white that we're cutting, not the black. And I try and start with the really small stuff. So, like teeth, eyes. Yeah. Sadly, we will hear this. I'll try and make it a little bit untwisted. Maybe I can get this to come over here. Always make sure you use your stand too. Oh yeah, plus I can feel that the stand is warm. Alrighty. Oh, another good trick is before you plug it in, make sure your attachment is tight. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, it always loosens up when I'm doing this. Don't use your hands, obviously. I just grab a pair of pliers and just tighten it. You can tell when it's loose. And I don't mean loose this way, but it'll unscrew itself just enough to be unsafe, at least in my opinion. I like to be safe. I have stabbed myself with this. Let me see. Is it this thumb or this one? And it does instantly cauterize. It's this thumb. Probably can't see it. Let me try. As soon as I let go, you'll see like a white dot right around here. Anyhow, yeah, I stabbed myself fairly deep with it. Not to the bone, but it did instantly cauterize it. Weird, but it happened. Let's get a little bit closer. Gotta hold it still because these have round butts, so you don't want to hurt yourself. And let's go. Another thing is just like with power tools, you know, you let it lead it. Now, you should not do what I'm doing right now and cut towards you. You should not do that. So let me turn it and cut away from you, especially when I'm this close to my face. Don't do that. And it should be hot enough that it just goes on its own. You give it only a little bit of pressure. You shouldn't be pushing really hard. That's how you get this out of place. It'll start going like backwards because it's just held on by, let me see, can you see them? Two little screw things right there. It can get loose if you're pushing too hard. So just like with cutting power tools, let it guide the forward motion and you just steer it. And for tight, small thingies, you don't want to go in too deep. Obviously, you want to use only like no more than half of it, especially like for the teeth. Woof. You're just going to be making that the whole time, silly girl. Give me a growly girl. She don't even know what's out there. It's just because the neighborhood dogs are doing it, she wants to do it too. Trying to be one of the in crowd, eh, huh? I mean, I don't mind, you know, being guard dog and such, but if you're just barking because everybody else is barking, come on. Be your own dog. All right, there's one part of the mouth. Okay, the teeth are going to be a little bit tricky. Sometimes you might even have to, once everything's gone and the paper's off, sometimes I've even had to just stab it pretty good with this. It is good for poking at this end, but this right here is thick enough. It can make a pretty decent sized hole for the light to go through. Have had to use that one before. And just in case there's any chat, I will try and see it, but clearly I do need to pay attention to where I'm cutting. More teeth. I've actually lost count on how many pumpkins that we currently have. But I think it is less than 30, but I know it's more than 20. And one of them didn't get finished. It was it Beetlejuice? I don't remember. I thought it was one of these pumpkins. These are the foam pumpkins. This one was more of like a compressed recycled paper. Not good for this. If you have like a Dremel, sure. Plus I was afraid that if it got wet, it would just like, you know, dissolve. So, I mean, that one's been out in the weather and it hasn't been destroyed, but it's really hard to cut. So I actually do have a Dremel. It's literally right there. Because we're going to be starting once we can time it nice so we have good weather for being outside for quite a while and the wind has died down. Working with foam in the wind is not fun. And we have a lot of wind here, so it can be a little bit tricky. So whatever day we got, we're going to try and like hammer out as much of carving on the brand new facade as we can. You're so silly. are such a goofball, darling. Although for things like these teeth right here, because it is already, nice and up to temperature, super duper easy, obviously, because you don't have to go in really far. That's probably the easiest way to mess it up is by going in too far, because then you're going to like cut into the next hole. And I do have super glue. I have made tons and tons of mistakes in the past. Not that I won't make one today. It's just that I haven't done one in a while. But yeah, some things can be kind of hard to fix. But I will say super glue is definitely the best for fixing these. If they fall, something cracks, something breaks off, I would say none of my pumpkins are not cracked and repaired with super glue in some way, shape, or form. All of them have some sort of break, either from storage, from wind. Oh gosh, what else? People getting a little bit too interested in what they're made out of. Picking them up wrong. Yes, please don't pick up one of these pumpkins by the carving. Great way to break it. Especially when you spend a lot of time on making it look super amazing. Now, I don't do any of the, I don't know what you would call it, but when they shave off part of it, but don't go all the way in, so you get kind of the glow, but not the full light. Yeah, I haven't done any of that yet. I could probably do that with the Dremel, but not with this for sure. I know you want to go outside because you hear the neighbors and they always give you treats. But I'm a little busy right now, so you'll just have to survive. Okie dokie. I hate your whimper. Okay, the mouth part is done. So now I don't have to tilt it as far, which is nice. Like I said, you have to make sure you hold it safely. But I'm still going to go for the small bits to cut out first. So things like right here on the hat. And unless they come out on their own, I do not try and remove any of these until I'm done with the whole thing and take the paper off. And because this thing melts it, sometimes the paper does get stuck to it. Do you really want out that bad? You can make me stop what I'm doing and let you out? I let her in there.
Oh,
hi.
I didn't know you're in here.
I am in here.
Who are you carving? Him.
Whatever it's called.
Daisy guy.
What? Daisy guy?
He has a daisy. I don't know what his name is.
Or Daisy if you do. Not gonna lie, I have not seen any of the Terrifier movies. I mean, they kind of seem like they're up my alley because, well, as far as I know, I have not seen the movies, but I'm not really into like monster type movies. I mean, I like Freddy. That's kind of cool. I don't really consider him a monster because he gets you in your dreams. But, oh yeah, the eyes too. Yeah, like Jason and Michael Myers. I can't with the Voldemort. You know, we kill them and then they come back, and we kill them and then they come back, and we kill them and then they come back. Like, enough already. Come on, enough. But you can't stop falling asleep. But anyhow, yeah, I'm more of a fan of like thrillers, mysteries, that sort of thing. And they can be, supernatural and such. I don't mind a good jump scare. I appreciate it because usually you can see them, well, usually I can see them coming a mile away. So when they get me, I like that. Let's see. I did like the Insidious movies. Yeah, ghosts are cool. I don't know. Just something about those never-ending monsters. Like, guys, come on. That's why I liked the twist in the original Friday the 13th. But, then they decided the actual monster is scarier, so let's go with that. But if If you haven't seen the original Friday the 13th, I won't spoil it for you. Now, Friday the 13th, the series, yeah, let's go. Although, don't really love how they ended that, but, we'll survive. Justice for Brian. Ryan? Might have been Ryan. Whatever, the guy. Yeah, I don't know if he just wanted off the show or what. I don't know why they did that. So I do have to fold this one over a little bit, and there's a little hole right there, so I'm just going to like extend this one over to make it, kind of meet with that, just to give it a little extra. And the good thing about using these is you can get creative. You can, do your own thing as well. Dun, 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 dun. My favorite part, of course, who would guess, is when you get to turn off the lights and light it up and see if all your hard work looks amazing. That's probably how I stab my thumb. So I would think it would be the left one, not the right one. I don't know. I mean, the scar's almost gone, so the only way I can ever see it is by, you squeeze it hard, and when the blood comes back, you're like, oh, it doesn't come back as fast right there. It's the only way I can tell. I honestly don't even know where chat would be if there was any. Because so far, this is the only one of my many YouTube channels that I do live streams like this on. I mean, I have a gaming one, but that's totally different. I use streaming software for that, so. And I do it on my computer. All right. Any other small things to take care of? Yes, here's a small one right here. Cut away from you. Away, child. I mean, that's just a good way to do any cutting. That's how you should do all of your cutting, is away, especially when you have a hot thing and it's this close to your face. Just, trying to help people so they don't do what I done. Don't think that one met. There we go. And that'll happen a lot too. You'll have it where you thought you got it, meeting each other, the cut, and it didn't work. But that's also easier to do once the paper's gone, to see that. Okay, I think we got enough smalls on the outside. Let's start with things on the inside. I think the nose here is the smallest spot, so let's go for that. And again, just gentle pressure on this. You don't want to force the blade. I've never had one come off. That would be really bad. Because, by the way, the whole thing here is hot. Anything that's metal is going to be hot. It's not just the tip, so don't touch any of it. You can also tell by the color of it that it heats up. But if you're not familiar with metal that heats up, yeah, just don't touch it. That's a great rule. Don't touch it to test it. If you wanted to test it, you can like stick it in the top, like, ooh, like butter. But yeah, I've seen people do that where they, I don't know, either like lick their finger or don't do that. Do not use your fingers to test if it's hot. I saw somebody that had to explain that about the heat gun too. It's like, especially if you're like using it to corpse something, just point the heat gun at the plastic. If it melts, it's hot enough. Don't put your hand in front of it to test it. Don't be silly. I mean, you'd hope that would be self-explanatory. But you never know. Yeah, sometimes you're going to come in at a weird angle. But you know what? Any cuts that you make inside this white part, like I could just go clear across here. This is also handy for when you have really big pieces. It's handy to make a cut across it because it's easier to pull the individual pieces out without worrying about cutting it. Because this black here is going to stay and it's going to get really thin. So you got to be careful with that. Okay, like I said, this is kind of big, so I'm just going to make a cut across it. Boop. Easy peasy. All right. And then because this is so thin, I was like, wait a second, where does it meet? Also, watch out for that. Some of these patterns are not exactly the best sometimes when it comes to making sure So as of right now, the only thing holding his entire face in is this little teeny tiny thing. Yeah, that's not going to work for me. So I'm going to make another one like in another spot. So I'm probably going to not cut all the way down right here. I'm probably going to leave a gap right here to help hold this because that little thing right there is going to snap so easily. So easily. Same thing with these eyebrows. I'm probably going to be a little bit thicker on the ends just to give them something so they won't break. Do, 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 do. And also, you don't have to make it as thin as they're showing because honestly, once you put a light in it, it looks so good. I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, it's too thick right there. I say, shush and enjoy the pumpkins. But anyhow. All right, so I'm going to stop right here, cut across, and then go down. Just don't forget when you're doing the bottom one that you didn't cut it all the way. Kind of a satisfying sound. I don't know if you can hear it while it's going, but it's like cutting through the paper. And I don't think I finished that sentence, but because this is melting the pumpkin, sometimes the paper gets a little bit fused to it. So to deal with that, I actually have a little baby hairbrush. And I mean that literally. It is a hairbrush for babies. And it actually was my kids' hairbrush when they were babies. But it's very, very fine. But it's enough that you can kind of, for lack of a better term, scrub the paper off without having to worry about knocking out your pieces that you need to stay. Those birds are out in full force today. It is beautiful weather. I hope that y'all are having beautiful weather too. And by the way, I did make sure that this one was public. Hopefully it didn't have a alert on that thing right there. Let me see. What does this button do? I'm just curious. I'm not sure where that is, but I believe that that's the chat there. I actually didn't turn it on. Good for me. Okay. Let us continue. I'm so excited for this year. My oldest is actually designing the haunt this year. Obviously, I'm, helping, but the theme, the rooms, everything is all their design. Made me so proud. You know what they said the other day? Like, you know what? I want to have an amazing haunted house where I grew up. I was like, yes. Okay, cut through here. I might leave some more of it right here as well, just to give it some more meat left on it to hold it in. And I didn't finish over here above the eye. So let's do this because that would be silly. Yeah, another thing, make sure before you remove the paper, make sure that you have cuts in all your lines. I've done it before where I missed like an entire side and I'd already like ripped the paper up and thrown it away. And I was like, okay, we'll just wing it, We'll just do our best because obviously we forgot to do, that side of the head or something. I think that was a day when I did like 5 pumpkins back to back. Okay. And this one's going to be so tricky. But it's going to look so good. I love carving pumpkins. I love seeing the guests trying to figure out like what some of them are. I do like to still have some that are not completely known to everybody. I did Gamork from Neverending Story. Almost nobody gets that one. But that's okay, because the ones that do, they're like, wow, you did that? And that sucker was freehand. Okay, as freehand as I can get, which is basically I had an actual screenshot from the movie. I put it on a pumpkin and I did my best. And I think he looks great. Because one of my favorite characters in the movie. Okay, so we're going to put this here. We're not going to cut that. We're not going to cut it. Not going to cut it. Okay, going around the eye. That's already cut. So let's go down from here. Yeah, I think this definitely needs some more space for holding on to the pumpkin itself. So I'm just gonna make sure we keep it safe, keep it intact, I guess you could say. Gotta keep it on time. What is my favorite pumpkin that I've carved so far? Well, that's hard. Probably the one that is the Silver Raven logo, at least the one that I made at that time. I'm still in the process of designing one because I would like to have one. Let's see, yeah, this one's going to be really, really tight because it's a little piece right here. I don't know if I'm going to cut all the way right there, so I'm going to shorten it just so we don't have any accidents. I'm going to make some cuts. So these jagged, I guess the best description, pieces will come out easier. So make a cut across there. Make a cut across there. Just also be careful when you're doing this, you don't cut into the black part of which you're wanting to leave there. And because there are your own creations, the imperfections that happen naturally, they will just make it all the more uniquely yours. Plus, it depends on which pumpkin you put it on. You can make this like a smaller design and put it on a smaller pumpkin, put it on a bigger one. You can like put it sideways, you can put it on a different style, and then that makes it a different shape. So there's so much uniqueness when you're doing these. I don't think even if you did all on the same type of pumpkin, all on the same design, I still don't think they would be 100% identical. And I think that's really cool. And this thing here is super duper thin, so I'm going to make the jaw a little bit further down, just because that'll definitely break. The paper's a little bit loose right there, so I'm going to go down instead. Because going up was kind of like pulling it a little bit. So instead of going all the way up to the top, I'm going to start the curve like right now. So right there. That way it's much thicker. This is very, very thin. But over here is fine, so I can make it the exact same shape. And I believe these come with a replacement blade as well. Let me take that out really quick. Yeah, this I think is the replacement blade. Here, let me park it really quick. I don't think this is what comes with it, but I can't remember. So this, let's see if you can see it. This is a blade that's been used for a really long time. I don't know if you can see all the gunk stuck on it. I'm trying to get it to show it, but it's being about. This one is replacement one. Twing, twing. See how shiny and beautiful it is. And you can probably tell that this one's like bent backwards just a little bit. So yeah, I don't know what happened to this. It's got so much like glue and gunk in here. But if you heat this up, you can brush it off to reuse it. Wow, it's even like separating right there. Not cool. Yeah, pretty sure it doesn't come with this thing. I think this is something that my husband gave me to store the extra blades in. Wow, I have two more of them. Okay. Trying to see if I had any of the other attachments in here. Because I often use them together, I ended up just putting all of the glue gun and hot knife things in the same container. Ah, that dorg. Okay, so let's cut across here. And cut across here. And then we'll just continue down. But because this one's wiggling a little bit, I'm going to have to go upwards with that. Especially when you are going upwards, make sure you're in deep enough so that it doesn't like whoop suddenly. That's a great way to cut yourself. And as I said, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, just because the other dogs are barking, that's all. It's because the other dogs are barking.
Yeah. I'm going to take my phone.
Okay. There we go, and yeah, I should have made this much higher up because it's a very, very thin gap between that. So now I'm going to have to adjust the bottom one. It's very, very thin right there. And sometimes the paper does come off on its own. No big deal. It'll do that. So that was too close together. Let's start a little centimeters this way. Because remember, originally the chin was the only thing holding all of that in there. Not going to work for me. So now we have a piece here. So I'm going to start down here. Make sure I don't accidentally cut through my purposefully left pieces of pumpkin. Okay. Although if I'm going to do more of these, I might print out two or just like make a copy of it or something so that once it's done, I can show you like the difference between the original and then what I ended up having to do because it was too thin in some spots. Okay, we'll make a cut across here. And I think that should be good. Okay, I think we'll work again on this bottom part, which it'll be a little bit hard for you to see, but for safety, I don't want to have it like sort of kind of tilted. Gotta be safe, you know. Because I do have to hold it with my hands, obviously. But I also need to be close enough to see where I need to adjust the cuts because they made this way too close together. So we're just going to do our best to make it look similar, but not be as thin in this spot. Because that is not good when you're trying to pull out some tiny pieces. Because after all this, I don't want it to break. No, no, no. and we've already cut enough. I can feel that when I'm cutting these little short ones, it's kind of moving right next to it. So that's a good sign. It means it's cut through. As I said, sometimes you might not get it to meet where it needs to go, and then you'll just have to make a tiny little cut again. There's usually some adjustments that you have to do after it's fully cut. Maybe these thin pieces that I'm working on right here, they're not thick enough to let light through. So sometimes it's also the angle that you're holding the hot knife. Maybe you're cutting in at a wedge, and then you just need to cut the part on the inside to make it straight so the light actually comes out. I'm sure I'll have at least one of those, so I'll be able to show that one as well. I don't know if I've had any pumpkin that I've carved that I didn't have to do that to. Sometimes my couple fingers get like a little bit numb, so sometimes I have to change how I hold it. I have biggie, and because it's super thin right there, the paper is starting to like crumple backwards, so I'm gonna have to be careful and do it towards me. The pumpkin is farting. Toot toot. Again, I'm just trying to make the black space between them a little bit more than what is on this original. Okay, those look all cut. Let's make the cut in between them so it's a little bit easier to pull them out, the individual pieces. All right, so there's that. So these are all done. That's all done. Do the bottom one there. Let's hold that down just a little bit. Yeah, that one was like super thin. I would say the thickness of these pumpkins is, I don't think it's a half an inch, like a quarter. It's pretty thin. So luckily for small parts, you don't have to, get it all the way in. You just gauge by your cutting tool. Like, can you see it? There's a certain level or height for that, but I can't put my other hand in the way to block it so you can really see it. But the part that you do the most cutting is where you're going to have like some residue. Easy to clean off. But do it while it's hot, and do it with a metal tool to clean it. Don't try and clean it with like, plastic brush or something. Just use like a wire brush. Super easy. I mean, you can get it off when it's cooled, but in my opinion, it's easier when it's not cooled and solidified. Yeah, that's a little bit close. We're going to go a little further away from the cutout parts. Same with this one. I want more of a gap between the cut and the not cut. to cut right here, and this one will be finished. That looks good. Everything here is cut. Now, stand it back up. Now this part looks a little tricky because it's super tiny jagged stuff, but those are actually super easy. Probably easier than like these with some deeper ones, because I just start from the flat end, put it in, and just cut, make little angles, cut, cut. Super easy. I like these actually. I would say carving most of these pumpkins because I like, ones with some small things, some intricate stuff. They're usually about like an hour. Sometimes from start to finish, sometimes just the cutting part and then the pulling out of the pieces takes a little bit longer, but it's sometimes the fastest part if you're lucky. Oh, one good thing about these is, although you should have obviously adequate ventilation, these don't create like the smoke that you shouldn't be inhaling. I've never had them do that when I'm carving the pumpkins. And this is like really, really thin. So we're going to go way, way up here and not do that like bottom layer because that's way too thin. It's going to have a bigger forehead. Yeah, that's it. No biggie. Better than this part breaking off because it's too thin. Actually, I should have made the gap here bigger, so I'm going to have to make this little triangle here smaller. Same thing with this gap in between this, it's not his hair, but it's too thin right there. So we're just going to go, how should we do this? Because I want to make it like similar to that, but it's not going to be like that. There, we'll just make a little kind of ridgy cut right there. Okay, let's complete this one. Okay, that's done. But like I said, I made this one too close to this, so we're gonna have to do it way over here. So let's start up here and make the gap right here. I don't want to have anything falling off. At least not for a few years. Okay, that piece is done. Probably should have done more on the forehead first, but it's okay. Scoot, make a cut. Got your crazy high clown eyebrows. But I'm going to make the width of it a little bigger. Just because we want them to not break. Okay, and then cut in between here. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Not going to go all the way down. Again, same reason. I just don't want it to break. Because these are super duper thin. I mean, they seem good, but you will realize that the super duper thin ones, for me, not for everybody, of course. I'm sure somebody can do it. But these have to be outside and have to be a bit more sturdy than somebody who's maybe just selling it or just putting it on display somewhere where it's not going to get a little bit of rough and tumble. Okay, so let's make a cut in between here and make a cut over here. And cut over here. Just because this is an awfully large piece to be cutting and pulling out. Okay, maybe same thing over here. And the chin. All right, so last piece, whoop, right here. Got a little bit of a fold, no biggie. See, you can barely tell now. GB. I'm not sure if there's like the chat, if someone says anything, if it only stays on there for a second or if it stays on the screen for a while. So again, I'm sorry if I miss anything, comments, questions. Probably why I'm prattling on as I am. You're so silly. Almost there. Oh, it's starting to come off, so we're going to hold it still and not cut ourselves. Make a cut there, and one last move around the corner. Okay, make a little cut across there. Yep. That one actually, I don't know if you saw it, it actually pulled out the pumpkin piece, which is totally fine. Okay, make a cut there, and a cut there. Where else do I think needs cuts? The rest of it looks pretty good. So, we're not going to turn this off yet. We are, however, going to park it far away from fingers, elbows, toes, nose, anything. This is the fun part. To see your creation carving actually come to life. The end. I'm just kidding. Forgot to bring my garbage can over here, so we'll just put it over there. Maybe I won't put it right next to the phone. because it's kind of just undoing itself. I need to make a Zombo one. That's what I need to do. He's our local horror host. Been on the air for over 20 years. Amazing. Okay, I just realized. Drinky poo. Good stuff. Alright, so bring our pushing and such tools here. Whee! Yeah, especially in these tighter spots, you'll have a lot of paper stick to it. No biggie. I guess we can start with the pushing in. There we go. Great way to break it. Don't do that too hard. And sometimes it just won't go. If you force it too hard, you will break it. Sometimes it just needs a little bit of an extra cut. Okay, looking good. And once I get the bigger pieces, like the chin out, I'll just shake all the pieces out. And sometimes I cut a hole in the bottom. I usually don't like to do the top because, one, the tops are easy to lose. And number two, it's just easier to cut a hole in the bottom and set it on top of a light. But a lot of times I also just cut one in the back of it here. It really just depends. Just depends on what we're doing with the lighting situation. And I'm not sure exactly what these tools are called. It says Pittsburgh. This is a different brand. This one's Stanley. It says 82-112. So again, I'm not sure what they're called. I call them pumpkin pokers. Doesn't sound very good. Now, just like with the cutting, I do try and do the smallest pieces out first. I just got a little antsy on seeing the pumpkin already. Because the reason why you gotta do that, like the teeth over here, okay? If you've got a whole bunch of it already cut and it's already kind of, what's a good term for that? The stability is, not so great on the edges. It's going to be really hard for you to remove the really tiny stuff. So like I said, you just got to be really careful with it. And this poker is also good for like lifting up the paper. So let's see, can we get any of these going yet? That one looks like it'll go. Okay, good job. Oh, the corners, the point. The point really helps for pushing in the corners. Get the pieces in. Yeah, this one seems like it's going to be a bit tricky with like paper removal and all that, so this might be a longer finish than I anticipated, but it's all good. Okay, this piece, do you not want to go in at all? Oh, that one does. Yeah, like I said, this is why I do not unplug the hot knife yet, because, well, sometimes you have to make cuts, additional cuts, so the pieces will come out. This paper is really stuck on. I'm not really concerned about the ones that are going to get popped out. It's just the other stuff. The one that's going to stay. Alright, let's see if we can get any of these little teeny tiny teeth to go. On ones that I have like a bigger hole in here, sometimes I'll put my like hand on the other side. Be very, 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 can't stress enough, very careful when you do that. You can and probably will, if you've ever done any sewing, have a high chance of poking yourself, so might not want to do that. But sometimes it's the only way to stabilize the foam while you're pushing through it. these teeth are not wanting to cooperate. They're super tiny, that's why. I figured this was going to happen. So I can actually just punch them through with this. The holes. So we just make our own teeth. Yeah, that one I gotta be really careful. It looked like it was about to break. Very, very tricky. Especially tiny teeth like these. Wow. That one went in. Also, be prepared for a lot of paper mess doing it this way. Some people might just draw on the pumpkin and do it, which is super handy. But if I need to change up the design on the fly, then you're going to have lines left over. If you don't mind that, that's fine. Especially if you have a darker pumpkin, no biggie. You can paint it. We did that before. I can't remember what we carved into it, but my daughter did pouring paint on top of the pumpkin. It looked so good. It was like black with like glitter poured on it. It was gorgeous. Very, very nice. Yeah, I carved something into it. Sometimes I'll do like logos and give them to like places of business or whatever. Something that cool that they can just display, you know, for the awesome Halloween time. I don't know what that was. Let's see, can I poke your eyes in? Sucker. Yay, that one went. But that little one didn't go. That's fine. This little one probably won't go either. So we'll just make our own. Boop, there we go. This one doesn't look like I cut it very well. It's not wanting to come out. And it can also be used like this for prying pieces out. Well, yeah. But I much prefer to push them in than to pull them out because it's less chance of stuff breaking. So this one needs to cut across so we can get it out. There we go. Nice, satisfying pop, I guess you would say. Go. Eyeball. You don't want to come out for some reason, so let's redo you. And sometimes this is all it takes. You just have to make sure it's cut and meets together. Boop. Super easy. None of you want to go? Wow. We didn't do a very good job here, did we? Gotta be attached somewhere. There we go. Sometimes all it takes is just one that you can get out, and then the rest will be like, oh, we're supposed to go. Okay, I see what you're doing, picking up what you're throwing down. Yeah, this one does not want to. Make sure we don't cut something we're not supposed to. I like some of these, I can see like right here where it was attached, so I just cut right there. Not the eyebrow, darling. Not my eyebrows. Yeah, still attach this piece. There, snap right off. want me to break it, don't you? Nope, stay. Don't catch on my elbow.
Hi, sweet. Oh, you can come out. I'm sorry, baby girl. So I just double checked with. I just double checked with Riley. She's not going to be going today.
Oh, okay.
I know
Live
you're
stream.
Hmm?
No, I'm not recording, live streaming.
Oh.
Peace. So funny. Okay.
Cool. Okay. So I just thought I'd let you know.
Okay.
So what time would you like to leave?
Yeah.
Won't get brushed.
Well, let's see. It
I'll
is
brush it with this.
11:30, so.
And it's at Spanish Springs.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. So. Decisions.
You should also bring money. I can actually look at
Thank
the stores
you.
now. I can actually...
Thank you for reminding me. I always forget
We
that.
have a guest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now I can actually stop at the stores and look. Because usually I'm just rushing to get back from like wherever I am, like getting food to seeing the things because we're not back in. Well, that's more marching season. But still, actually no, I actually get to see most of them.
So how about the 12?
12?
12.
Okay.
So that way, because like you said, gotta get the cash. Because I never have any. And these things are usually, cash only.
Yeah, we do need to have, I think it's
Come on,
10
don't break.
bucks.
There we go.
So I would just say bring $30 for the tickets. And then more for the other stuff. Because we definitely want food.
Yeah. Well, also to support them, too.
And that too, yeah. Because we love Spanish Springs.
We do. I love the bunnies.
Wait, what? No, sorry, I didn't process what you
I
said.
said we love the bunnies.
They're not bunnies.
They're bunnies.
Spanish Springs?
They look like Bugs Bunny to me.
Oh, I thought you meant their mascot. I'm like, they are not bunnies. They're a...
I don't even know what their mascot is.
No,
All I know is their band uniform is gray and white, and
they're a puma. That's what
they remind me of Bugs Bunny.
No, I see it now. But they're pumas. Or whatever the variant of a panther is.
Mountain lion? Cougar?
They're a cougar.
Like catamount? There's so many names for it, so.
No, I think they're either a mountain lion or a cougar.
I almost said wapiti, but that's elk. Yeah, we have elk around here. How come nobody's an elk? Should be the Elko Elks.
Honestly, that would fit.
I don't know. I mean,
No, they're not. I don't know.
mostly, I mean, they do come down here, but they're usually closer to like Idaho, Oregon, that area.
True.
But they have come down here. All right. Make another cut, right, y'all. Not all the way through. Come on, you look like underwear. I almost ripped that eyebrow right off. Ooh, scary times. All right, none of you want to go. You're being very naughty for me. So, again, cuts, glorious cuts. Okay, where shall we start? Let's go. What did we do there? We didn't finish. So I think this goes across here. Where does I don't know what we did with that. I think it goes across. I never finished it. So there. That's why that one won't go. Make some cuts here. Also, as it gets more fragile, be careful of pushing in too hard with your hot knife. Sometimes you can just push a little bit with your hand and see if it'll go. Clearly it wouldn't even budge just a tiny bit, so we need some more cuts. That didn't get cut through, did it? Okay. Just want to make sure that before doing this cut. Alright, that one looks like it might go, but I'll cut up here one more time. Just to make sure. Alright. that. Come on, let's do gentle, gentle, gentle with the vase. Yeah, this is where I was talking like you might want to hold it with your hand, not right next to where I'm stabbing, obviously, but kind of close. Yeah, see, this one will not come off yet, so get your hand out of there. We don't need that sort of damage. Boop. Okay, I think it might come off now. Gently, gently. Boop. Okay. What, you won't go either? So mean. Alright. Should try more of this. Okay, that is not good. Go. We need to make some more cuts. That's all the innards is innards. Cut across. Cut here. Alright, that feels a little bit more like butter. And also, you want to be careful because you've already cut it. So there's more chance of it, I guess you would say slipping. You don't want that to happen. All right, let's see if any of these will go. But we're going to have to put the finger on the inside and help support it. Okay, that went, that went. That's a no. That's a yes. Come on. It's got one little piece holding it in. There we go. All right. Okay, those went. That went. Don't break, darling. Please. Yes, make sure you talk nicely to your pumpkin. Just kidding. Alrighty, so you don't want to go? Oh, you do. Okay, there we go. And yeah, that one did not get cut. I was waiting to see how much I would need to before doing this one because this is right in the center and it's really thin. Oh yeah, like butter. That just totally went. All right, let's see what else. Yeah, the teeth are a definite no. We're gonna have to do a little adjusting and such for those. Let's make the chin a little less angled. So that it'll get more light through it. Okay. So another thing you can do is just take your hot knife in and kind of turn it, but be careful not to unscrew it doing that. You should go, well, righty-tighty. Okay, those are not really wanting to go yet, so we shall do a couple more cuts here. Okay, that one's good. And yeah, that one, I can literally just push it out with the hot knife, but now it's stuck. And I can clearly see that one's not cut. So we'll just fix that. Okay, looking good, looking good. Yeah, the teeth, not so great. I'll definitely have to make some adjustments on that. forever. Also, cutting these into smaller pieces not only helps it easier to push them through, but also helps it make them easier to get out of the pumpkin when we are finito. Okay, that one didn't even go all the way across. And I can see that these are not cut here. So there's one there, and one there. That looks cut, but we'll see. We shall see, we shall see. And let's be safer with this one and make a big cut all the way across. There we go. Okay, let's hold this. Oh, yeah, that one's not gonna go. That'll go, maybe. Yeah, they're still kind of stuck on. On the knife, there we go. You rascal. Wascally wabbit. Nope, ain't gonna go. Let's hold. I want to hold this piece right here if I can. Hold still. That's not gonna work. We'll just do our best to not cut anything that we shouldn't. Okay, yeah, this one's gonna need a lot more cuts. I don't think that one's all the way across. Okay, there we go. Cut there, not too much. Don't break stuff. Nothing that shouldn't be cut. Thank you very much. That one already pushed through, so that one was good. And instead of doing these like jaggedy ones first, I'll do a big one, and that'll usually help release the rest of them. But gotta be careful. Pushing too hard could snap the piece of remaining pumpkin that's holding it in. Yep, that's a no. That one's a definite yes. Goodbye. And goodbye. So these need a little bit more cut. Cut that little teeny tiny piece there. Adding the character. Okay, whoop. I almost just set it on the cord. Yay, ruin your hot knife in 10 easy steps. Actually, that'd be one easy step. Yeah, that is not gonna go. More cuts. There we go. That one. That one. Let's move this piece of paper so I can see exactly where that one goes. Yeah, see, I was about to cut where I shouldn't have. Alright, let's try this, see what we can get out first. And we can make more cuts if we need to. Oh, nice, nice. Look how jaggedy you are. Beautiful. Beautiful. You're stuck. There we go. Get the paper off. Push those out. Or just use my finger. Alright, nice, nice. Rockin' and rollin', rockin' and rollin'. Again, the teeth need some work, but they're not as bad as could have been, I guess you could say. Yeah, none of these are coming out on their own. How about you? Anybody? Anybody? That one, no. Yay. Okay. Thank you for being kind to me. But when I light this up, I'm going to have to turn the camera the other direction because clearly that light up there won't allow for the best, well, showing. And I have the window covered over there already. So let's do it. All right. We'll do the whole bottom again. It kind of looks like it's what's holding it up. Maybe because I did it like separately. Who else? You. You. Yeah, these are definitely a cuckoo. If they don't go back through their own line easily, you can tell that you didn't do a good job cutting them. And they did not, so I did not. Okay, so we're not going to like cut every single line over again, just in case, because we might not even have to. Now, they likes to go. All right, these are, oh no. Meet what? Yeah, I know. Okay, should go. Yay, thank you. Beautiful, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it, pumpkin. Almost done. Da-na-na-na-na-na. So, one good way to know that you're doing it wrong is if like this, it looks really good. Because you want it to look good when you light it up. You don't want it to be, what is that when you light it up? Which is what I've done with 2 pumpkins so far. I'm so disappointed I wrecked the Indiana Jones one. Because as this, it looks great. When you light it up, it's like, what the heck? There is a way to fix it. I can just like go over the line. So it's like stencil, I guess you would say. But it's so sad when I do that. Because that one, I think I did find a quote-unquote pumpkin, not necessarily pumpkin pattern. It was a stencil. I don't know who wants a stencil of Indiana Jones, but apparently I did, so. But I messed it up. I cut the wrong color. And if it's in color, the one I'm doing, I'll just put it in like Photoshop and do it grayscale. So it's easier to not mess it up. But I did it anyway. Very, very sad. Because it was so good. Just not what it's supposed to be doing. Alright, oh yeah, those have to be recut because they don't want to go. Oh yeah, you saw that pop? That was so nice. So nice. Don't cut that eyebrow, darling. It won't look good on you. Does not want to cut through this. At least not gently. I don't want to break anything. Ta-da. Okay, there we go. Will any of this go? Nope. Of course not. Why would you be kind to me right now? Actually, let me fix this. This is a big old turd. No, it's a slice, I guess you'd say, of foam that was hanging on for dear life, not wanting to leave. But I made it leave. Just a few more. Dun, 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 dun. Sounds like, I'm saying, sounds like people are out there antagonizing the dog. We do have some neighbors that'll do that. We have, unfortunately, the ones right next door to us, well, technically it's a duplex, so they're stuck to us. I call them house neighbors. They'll actually, like, bark at the dog. Like, get lost, people. Very rude. You don't want to go. Okay. We shall deal with fiends like you. Well, fine. If you want to come out, you don't have to go in. There. Okay. I think that is it. Again, the teeth need work. A lot of work. But I think it's ready to, whoop, no, we're missing one. The other side of the hat. And then it's ready. Nope. Move that paper so I can see what Twee's doing. Well, I did break one piece. Good job, me. But we'll just, well, no, it didn't break off. It's just like that one. Okay. Oopsie, don't break that eyebrow. Okay, now I think we're done. Except for the teeth, which we'll just have to do a little bit extra work on those. And probably a little bit more for the eyes, but that is a-okay. Let's just do, where are we? A hole in the bear for the light. escarpao. Okie doke. All right, now we can show it at least. Okay, so we're actually going to turn off the hot knife for now. Move this to the other side. Put this over here. Really tilted. What happened? Thanks, phone. Da-na-na-na. I just need to go a little further away. Sorry about the moving noise. There we go. Got my candle. Oh no, I stepped on his egg. That's for something else. Technically, that's trash. That was an experiment. Okay, so we're not fully dark, but we do what we can. Ta-da! So try and move it. You're a rat. You know what we can do? We could take this in the other room. So, I think that's probably what we'll do. Boop. So let me unplug the power cord, and we'll just go this way with the pumpkin to go somewhere actually dark. Dun 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 dun. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Don't look at the floor. Yeah, there's like 6 more pumpkins on the floor. Let's see. This isn't dark enough. Nope, it says rotten lights over there. Dun 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 dun. I'll go in here where it's dark. Don't break the pumpkin. All right, so there's that. And let's turn on the light. Light is on. My hand's stuck in the thing. All right, so still too bright. Are you kidding me? No, 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 no. Let's shut this one. I have to. I'll shut myself in the closet. Problem is, this is a good camera on this phone, so that's why. Okay, so now, you in the thing yet? It looks good! Yay! We did a good job! Turn it. There we go. I'm trying to turn so the light isn't... Usually we have like the little tea lights in these, but it looks really good. Fantastic. Woohoo! I didn't screw it up. Yes, we'll fix the teeth, but I think he looks absolutely terrifying. Dun 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 dun. All right, Tay. Turn the light off. Yes, save the battery. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for hanging out. I had tons of fun not screwing up this pumpkin. And we got to go, so we'll see y'all later. Boop.